Good day, students. Welcome to our MAPE 9 Module 2. In this video you will learn classical music, vocal and instrumental music. At the end of this module, the students are expected to define the different classical form, describe the musical elements of given classical period piece, listen perceptively to selected classical period music. Directions: read each question carefully, and then encircle the answer that best fits the question. Number 1. It repeats the themes as they first emerged in the opening exposition. A. Development. B. Exposition. C. Recapitulation. D. Sonata. Number 2. A section of the sonata allegro form where the themes developed. A. Development. B. Exposition. C. Recapitulation. D. Theme and variation. Number 3. A musical work with different movements for an instrumental soloist and orchestra. A. Concerto. B. Rondo. C. Sonata. D. Symphony. Number 4. A musical composition designed to be played by the full orchestra. A. Cantata. B. Concerto. C. Sonata. D. Symphony. Number 5. The most important form that was developed during the classical era and usually the form of the first movement of a sonata or symphony. A. Minuet. B. Rondo. C. Sonata allegro. D. Symphony. Let's have a recap to check your mastery about the previous lesson. The classical period was a time when entertaining, tuneful music was trendy. Composers strove to write music that went straight to the heart, instead of challenging listeners with too much complexity. The classical period also happened to produce three of music history's most famous composer. The three greatest and most popular composers of the period are Franz Joseph Haydn, Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart, Ludwig van Beethoven. In this self-learning module, we will be exploring the classical music. In the middle of the 18th century, Europe began to move toward a new style in architecture, literature, and the arts. This is known as classicism. Classicism is art music produced or rooted in the traditions of Western culture. It was also pushed forward by changes in the economic order and in social structure. Instrumental music was patronized primarily by the nobility. Vocal and instrumental music. Sonata. A multi-movement work for solo instrument, sonata came from the word sonare, which means to make a sound. This term is applied to a variety of works for a solo instrument such as keyboard or violin. The three movements of the sonata by Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. First movement, allegro, fast movement. Second movement, andante, slow movement. Third movement, minuet. It is in 3/4 time and in a moderate or fast tempo. Click the link, listen and learn the musical videos. Sonata allegro form. Exposition, the first part of a composition in sonata form that introduces the theme. Development, is the middle part of the sonata allegro form wherein themes are being developed. Recapitulation, repeats the theme as they first emerge in the opening exposition. Concerto. Concerto is a multi-movement work designed for an instrumental soloist and orchestra. It is a classical form of music intended primarily to emphasize the individuality of the solo instrument and to exhibit the virtuosity and interpretative abilities of the performer. The solo instruments in classical concertos include clarinet, bassoon, trumpet, French horn, cello, violin, piano. A concerto has 3 movements. First movement, fast, sonata allegro form with expositions of the orchestra and then by the soloist. Second movement, slow, has more ornamentation than the first movement. Third movement, fast, finale, usually in a form of rondo, resembling the last movement of the symphony, and usually a short cadenza is used. Click the link, listen and learn the musical videos. Symphony. A multi-movement work for orchestra, the symphony is derived from the word symphonia, which literally means a harmonious sounding together. It is a classical music for the whole orchestra, generally in 4 movements. 4 movements of the symphony. First movement, fast, sonata, allegro form. Second movement, slow, gentle, lyrical, typical AVA form or theme and variation. Third movement, medium, fast, uses a dance form, minuet or scherzo. Fourth movement, fast, typically rondo or sonata form. Click the link, listen and learn the musical videos. As the 18th century progressed, instrumental music was patronized primarily by the nobility, which led to the rise of public taste for comic opera. The music was mostly of a simple yet pleasant character, while the singing was highly flexible and sensitive and could freely express emotion through melody. Classical opera. Opera is a drama set to music where singers and musicians perform in a theatrical setting. The 2 distinct styles of opera, opera seria and opera buffa, were developed during the classical period. The opera seria, serious opera, usually implies heroic or tragic drama that employs mythological characters, which was inherited from the Baroque period. Idomeneo by Mozart is an example of opera seria. The opera buffa, comic opera, from Italy made use of everyday characters and situations, and typically employed spoken dialogues, lengthy arias, and was spiced with sight gags, naughty humor and social satire. The Marriage of Figaro, Don Giovanni, and The Magic Flute are examples of popular opera buffa by Mozart. Click the link, listen and learn the musical videos. Classical form. Baroque to classical. The Enlightenment. Classicism in music. Dramatic quality. Form. Themes. Thematic development. Sonata, allegro form. Exposition. Development. Recapitulation. Rondo form. Multi-movement cycle. Symphonic movements. Go and learn. Allegro, quickly, in a brisk lively manner. Andante, in a moderately slow tempo. Cantata, a choral composition with instrumental accompaniment, typically in several movements. Crescendo, gradually becoming louder. Diminuendo, decrescendo, gradually becoming softer. Homophonic, a melody accompanied by chord. Largo, a very slow tempo. Minuet, a slow, stately ballroom dance for 2 and triple meter. Opera, a drama set to music. Singspiel, 18th century German musical comedy featuring songs and ensembles interspersed with dialogue. Let's have our activity. Activity 1. Matching type, match column A with column B. Write the correct letter on the space provided for. Number 1. It is the first part of a composition in a sonata form that introduces the theme. Number 2. The third movement of sonata. It is the 3/4 time and in a moderate or fast tempo. Number 3. Section of sonata allegro form, repeats the theme as they first emerge in the opening exposition. Number 4. Symphony is derived from the word underscore, which literally means a harmonious sounding together. Number 5. It is the middle part of the sonata allegro form wherein themes are being developed. Activity 2. Directions, identify the words being described below. Choose and write the correct answer from the pool of words. Here are the choices. Concerto. Form. Opera. Opera buffa. Opera seria. Let's begin. Number 1. It refers to the structure or organization of a piece of music. Number 2. A. Serious opera, usually implies heroic or tragic drama that employs mythological characters, which was inherited from the Baroque period. Number 3. A drama set to music where singers and musicians perform in a theatrical setting. Number 4. A multi-movement work designed for an instrumental soloist and orchestra. Number 5. A. Comic opera, from Italy, made use of everyday characters and situation, and typically employed spoken dialogue, lengthy arias, and was spiced with gags, naughty humor and social satire. Activity 3. Directions: complete the crossword by filling in a word that fits each clue. Number 1. A choral composition with instrumental accompaniment, typically in several movements. Number 2. A very slow tempo. Number 3. A tempo marking indicate to play brisk and lively movement. Number 4. A piece of music where the musical material stated at the beginning of the piece keeps returning. Number 5. A form of theater in which music has a leading role and the parts are taken by singers. To wrap up the lesson. Direction: write the word true if the statement is correct, and false if it is incorrect. Write your answer on the space provided for. Number 1. Exposition, development and recapitulation are the three distinct sections of sonata allegro form. Number 2. Opera seria and opera buffa are the two vocal forms developed in the classical era. Number 3. Symphony has 4 movements, these are fast, medium, fast and slow. Number 4. Development is the middle part of the sonata allegro form wherein themes are being developed. Number 5. The Marriage of Figaro, Don Giovanni and the Magic Flute are examples of popular opera buffa by Mozart. Valuing. Directions: complete the following unfinished sentence. Number 1. I learned that the primary benefit provided by classical music radio is. Number 2. The reason why I really appreciate instrumental music from classical period is because. Number 3. I love listening to classical music composition because. To measure how much you have learned from the entire module, let us answer the post-test. Directions: read each question carefully, and then circle the answer that best fits the question. You are given 30 seconds to answer. Number 1. The term for Italian opera. A. Comic opera. B. Opera. C. Opera buffa. D. Opera seria. Number 2. It is a multi-movement work for solo instrument. A. Cantata. B. Concerto. C. Sonata. D. Symphony. Number 3. The general texture of classical music. A. Heterophonic. B. Homophonic. C. Monophonic. D. Polyphonic. Number 4. The term for serious opera. A. Comic opera. B. Opera. C. Opera buffa. D. Opera seria. Number 5. It is called the Age of Reason. A. Baroque. B. Classical. C. Medieval. D. Renaissance. That's all for today. Have a happy day. Every day is a chance to learn. So keep on learning. Thank you.